network execs are listening, we're having a major issue trying to sign in with Skype, and that's how our guest this evening, Mr. Joe Chin from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International, that's how he's going to contact us. So having issues logging with Skype, if someone could please call Lauren. I'm not going to blast her number out here on the air, but...
why not? No one will take it down anyway.
But in any event, we're having some technical difficulties here on our end, but this show will go on. I hope everybody had an awesome time. We're still recovering from our hangover from last week's show, so I hope everybody else had a good time like we did.
Yes, we did. We had a wonderful time. Sorry we couldn't play any intro music. We're still having a little trouble with that, but I'm sure we'll get it fixed. I hope we get it fixed for next week so we can play you some fun stuff.
Yeah, hopefully.
Kind of dry opening, but, a little dry opening, the Paranormal Hangover.
We're not going to have any questions or contact on the show. Dry opening?
Dirty mind.
What was that? Oh, my God.
So our guest tonight is going to be Joe Chin, but we're also going to be highlighting Mr. Michael Buckley and his team, Unknown Paranormal.
Yeah. Unknown Paranormal Societies out of New York.
Yes.
New York, they love the Shanley Hotel. They spend quite a bit of time at the Shanley Hotel. I'm not sure. I think Mike might be a pimp, actually.
I think he's going to be there next. Is it this weekend or next weekend? I think it's this weekend. He's going to be there. Because I remember we were going to go for we were going to try and go for my birthday weekend. I think it was this weekend.
Okay.
He's going to be there, so maybe we'll talk to him a little bit about the Shanley and some of his experiences and all that. I really want to get there in the worst way.
Oh my God!
So many people we've all been there, and it's such cool experiences.
Yeah, I'm dying for that. I cannot wait to do the Shanley Hotel.
Yeah.
It's one place that we haven't had the chance yet, but we'll be getting in there eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what's going on? What's in the news? I see everybody loved the post I put up. Mr. Joshua Gates is going to be returning to the airwaves with Expedition Unknown. Basically, Destination Truth on the Travel Channel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So that's all they've done. They just moved it over to Travel.
Travel Live.
I wonder if he's going to have Ryder with him.
Oh, my God. Please check your Joshua Gates at the door.
We have a running joke that everywhere that Josh goes, Ryder goes, or we imagine Ryder wears him as a jacket to sneak him into events. So when they walk into places, she's like, "Please check your Josh Gates at the door." Oh, damn.
Aww.
So that's one of the fun things we're looking forward to is the new Expedition Unknown.
When does that start? They want to start it or not?
The fall, I think. Maybe later this year.
We got to wait all that time?
Are we really waiting? Have we been waiting this whole time for Expedition Unknown?
I guess it's really just reruns of Paranormal Witness until the new stuff starts, until Sleepy Hollow starts.
We get that, and we get lots and lots and lots of Steve DeShavi.
Oh, my God, yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Steve DeShavi and I don't know, Bagans. What the hell is he doing? He's got some vampire thing now?
Does he really?
Yeah, he's producing some vampire adventures or something like that. Basically, ghost adventures with vampires.
But what's the other thing he does? The other Ghost Adventures spin-off. I forget what it's called.
Oh, Aftershocks.
Aftershocks, yeah. So he's just doing Aftershocks and Vampire Diaries and God knows what else.
Aftershocks sounds like something we should be drinking this weekend at the Fiesta.
I don't want to drink Aftershocks. I feel like the sugar would have me lay in bed for... That would be a real hangover.
For all of you that don't know, this is the big St. Peter's Feast Fiesta Festival weekend here up in Gloucester, Massachusetts. Google it sometime. Google St. Peter's Fiesta and check out what's happening with Greasy Pole, especially.
Oh, my God.
And it's going to open your eyes to a whole new world as you watch people, especially men, well, only men, run and slip and slide on a big telephone pole that's on its side that they slip and hit their groins and stuff like that. Good times, guys.
Men just like women. Let me just add that in. Men just like women and clowns and, oh, God, all kinds of babies. Interesting stuff.
I feel like we should be doing a Laurenism instead of a Chipism here at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I could never live up to Chip. No, my friend. And Laurenism just doesn't sound right. Doesn't flow, you know.
What a Lauren ain't.
Ew.
What Lauren ain't.
What Lauren ain't.
What Lauren ain't.
Lauren ain't happy about this heat. That's what Lauren ain't. I don't do well in the summer.
Oh, my gosh. In other paranormal news, I've been seeing some pictures floating around, too, on Facebook. This team, I don't know who they are yet, so there's this team that put some photos up that they took at a cemetery. And it's the cemetery that Carl's buried at from Bobby Mackey's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So in this cemetery, they've taken a photo and blasted it all over Facebook because they have captured what they say is the spirit of an Indian. They believe you can see the feathers in the hair and everything.
Wow.
I see matrixing of the trees in the background, but they see, and quite a few people actually see this spirit in this photo, which leads me to this little topic here, talking about spirits in photos. The only spirits in photos that I actually believe is when somebody, especially GBSG, takes a picture of their bar before the party.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard for me to buy into some of these spirit photos that are floating around. But yeah, I when they have the shots of Jack and stuff like that in their photos, that's the one thing.
You know what Lauren ate? Lauren ate quick today because it took me like 5 seconds to get that.
So for anybody who's in the chat room, Flip will continuously just bring you up to speed as to what's been going on throughout the show. It started off with me professing his love to him. And it's going to go, I'm sure there'll be lots of stuff about him spooning me and things of that nature. But
it was a darling sight. Lovely. So, what that was, hold on. Back to the whole spirits in the photo thing.
Okay.
Do we think that, I think that has to do with kind of everything in the paranormal realm. Because if I walked up to you on the street and I was from some team that, from New York, never met you before, and started talking, and I said, I'm going to tell you something. Last night I saw a spirit of an Indian walk across my living room. You'd be like, okay, you're loco. You're loco, honey, because you know nothing about me. You know nothing about the way I investigate, about, the evidence that I put out there, the way that I interpret my evidence. So I feel like sometimes in photos, people honestly believe that that's what it is. And who are we to say, no, until, we can figure out some way to actually prove that that's not what it is.
I can understand that.
That's tough to me. I don't believe every single picture I see. But, but I've had some experiences even that I'm like, no, I swear, I'm telling you, this is what happened. People are like, yeah, okay.
Well, and that's just the thing, though, is I'm the type of person, and you're the same way. I'm the type of person that if you send me a photo, my first thing is going to say, no, it's interesting. I wasn't there. I'm sorry. If I were there, I could speak better to the photo.
Right.
But I wasn't there. I can't tell you what I saw.
Yeah.
Or what you saw. You know better than I do. What you're saying, hey, it looks like it could be, but I wasn't there. So I have no idea what to tell you. But hey, good catch if it really is a spirit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Only you know.
So.
Well, I don't know. That's that. In other news.
Yeah.
Not so paranormal.
Oh, yeah?
The frizz factor today was very high.
Yes. Even my hair was frizzy.
Yeah.
I had frizz.
I'm going to Sinead my hair.
I'm talking about my chest hair.
I know. Really. You got to.
I'm like a gorilla.
Turn that down a little bit.
Okay, I'll turn it down. You got that. I'm just hit our mic. Sorry about that, folks. Lauren's first show. Getting the link already. Good God.
But no, this is what, I was telling you about today, this morning. I saw on the news. People can now get foot surgery to make their feet smaller and more narrow. They call it Cinderella surgery.
They do.
What do you feel about this? How do you feel about this?
Cinderella surgery, huh?
Yeah, now for people who have actual conditions where their feet are, like some people have, like the one long toe. Yeah. Okay. So, all right, it doesn't fit your shoe. Fine, whatever.
Like hammer toe.
Yeah. But, it's like bunnies and all that gross stuff. But how about, hey, my size 6 is too big. I want a 5. Break all my toes and make my foot smaller.
Sounds pleasant. Doesn't sound painful at all. I'd like to do that.
You want to do that?
Hey, Flip, has Christine had that done? If you could private message us so we know, Or
binding, I believe that's called binding.
Was that a cultural thing?
It's a cultural thing.
You know that. Sorry, Joe's coming on soon. Never mind, I didn't say anything about his sister.
Oh,
My
we're
bad.
going to see how well this works out with Joe. We can't figure out how to get on Skype.
I'm into binding, though. Not that kind of binding.
Hey, what did we say about content?
Content, sorry.
Hey, what's the content?
Content. We're not getting kicked off YouTube this week. It's not happening.
Not happening.
You down with FCC?
Hey, you know me.
You down with FCC?
Yeah, you know me.
Anyway.
All right. Back to reality. So...
The coolest gravity.
I'm conversing with Senior Chin right now, and he says that and we might not be able to hear him very well. We can at least try, see what happens.
Joe has a Fisher-Price phone he's going to try and call us from.
Yeah,
So he says, I guess landlines are a thing of the past because the cell phone is the way to go.
He says, people can't hear him and they get disconnected a lot, but maybe we can try it out, and I'll have him call in.
Clearly our network producers weren't listening because they haven't contacted us about our Skype issue.
Yeah.
We're just newbies, so we can't figure out when I try to log in on Skype and it asks for my host PIN, how do I put my host PIN in so they can log in on Skype?
Well, actually, you did put it in about 15 times. It just won't take it.
I'm talking about the Skype PIN, baby.
Oh,
you were too. My bad.
Oh,
sorry. Sorry, there I go again. So, something else I wanted to talk about, one thing we haven't really gone into is I do still want everybody to send us messages. Nobody has sent us a message about guests to have on the show, questions to ask guests.
Yeah.
I've received, and I know Lauren has received, nothing. We don't have anybody sending us anything. That's kind of disheartening. I was really hoping for some good suggestions, get some people on the show and that everybody wants to hear from.
Yeah.
So instead, we're just going to have to bring on people like, I don't know, probably that Grunwald guy.
Oh, God. He makes really, really amazing music videos. Music videos.
If there's anybody out there who has not seen one of Scott Grunwald's videos, you have to go on YouTube and check out Mr. Grunwald and his amazing style that he has, because when I go on there and I see Scott Grunwald dancing in a Hello Kitty shirt, it kind of makes my day.
Isn't it a sweatshirt?
No, that was just a long sleeve tee, my bad.
Anyway,
that's a long sleeve tee. Scott Grunwald wearing a Hello Kitty long sleeve tee and Hello Kitty pants, jeans, I believe they are, orange or yellow.
Yeah.
That video will brighten your day. And then if that's not the best video, you have to Google Zach Bacon's hair.
Oh, yes, that's a cute one. I like that one.
That is one for the ages. I've been hearing a lot from people. I have to apologize because I did receive a message from Eric Julian telling me I do need to have someone on the show, and I did receive that, Eric, and I will look into doing it. I promise you that. And then also, I want to know if I wanted to have a psychic on the show, do you think they already know? Do you think?
Maybe.
You think they already know?
No, I doubt it. Half of them never know.
Oh.
They never know what's going to happen.
That's good.
Wasn't that a question of the day the other day? Can people see into the future? I think Paranormal Warehouse said that.
They might have.
Can people see into the future? Do you think people can see into the future?
They might have.
Yeah.
That's
I think it was yesterday or today.
Paranormal Warehouse?
Yeah.
Awesome guys.
Yeah.
We're going to have them at some point in time on this show as well. We're going to have the generic black shirt group on this show as well, if they'll do it.
Yeah.
Except for that Flip. I don't want Flip on the show.
Flip.
And then again, Peter's going to have to be on the show also. Peter's got his own show coming up, as a matter of fact. He's going to be doing a show here on DCM Wicked Radio called Wicked Weather. That's going to be on July 5th, I believe. And please be sure to check that out. Check out Pete in his show. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce our guest of the evening, Mr.
Joe Chin.
Joe Chin. Mr. Chin.
Hi, how are you?
Joe Chin.
How are you?
Good, brother.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. Good, thanks. Just sitting
How
on the
are
step.
you?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
So sorry we're having technical difficulties with Skype at the moment.
That's okay. If I cut in and out, forgive me.
I figured out how to call you. So sorry. Whoops, my bad. So, Joe Chin, how have you been, sir?
I've been okay. I've been just busy with a lot of events and a couple of cases for the team.
Okay. And I noticed you were out in the Buffalo area this past weekend. Is that right?
Yeah. I took the weekend to go see my friends at Death Zone Picture Studio, Mike Chavrasi's place, and I hung out with them for the weekend, filmed a TV pilot for a group out there, and I was one of their first guests. Hello? 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 Can anybody hear me? I'm not moving.
What in the heck
Hello?
is going on?
And we're back.
And we're back.
I don't know how we got booted out, but we got booted out.
Joe, it appears that Blog Talk Space likes you better than it likes us, because we got booted off our own show. They're like, oh, great, Joe Chin. And Lauren and Mark. Okay, so continue. You're telling us about Buffalo. You guys were filming. What were you filming?
We're filming a TV pilot for a show called Test. It's theory, science, education, and something else. I forget what. Theory. A couple of years ago, and they had called Mike and asked Mike if they could get me, and I agreed. So I flew down to Buffalo, and it was a good time. It was at a museum, the New York Historical Museum, and we had some good activity.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I love, that's so awesome. At a museum? What kind of, you said it was a history museum?
Yeah, they call it the Greater Buffalo History Museum.
Greater Buffalo History Museum. All right, cool. Is it kind of like a natural history museum, or is it like what kind of exhibits did they have in there?
They had some parts from ships. They had some Indian part of the museum. They had some local area shipyards and things like that.
Oh, cool. And what kind of activities did you guys get? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, we were doing an EVP session, and then we hear what sounds like an old-fashioned phone. And we all thought that somebody had their phone on, but nobody had their phone on. And when we asked the woman, they said that they hear that. And we were like, it sounded like one of those, it was crazy. And then we heard some voices. We got some footsteps. We heard clothes shuffling. They had an old grandfather clock, and it was ticking. And, so we said, they must wind it. But when we asked the woman, she said, they haven't wound that thing in a long time, and it shouldn't be going. But it did.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Not to change the subject up on you too much, because that fascinates me. That's some place that I definitely want to go check out now.
Yes, definitely.
And I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about it too, to hear about some of the other stuff that we had. I do want to just kind of before the chat box goes whizzing by us. Eric Julian had a quick question for you. He wants to know in your travels, what have you felt is the biggest difference from doing investigations here in the States as compared to maybe in your travels with GHI overseas? What do you find to be the biggest difference?
Probably language. Sometimes it's difficult for us. They give us phrases to say in their language, and we try our best to use that language, and sometimes we get a response. But it's crazy, though, because sometimes we'll say things in English and hear a response in another language, and vice versa.
Right. Huh. Back to the old, like, can spirits kind of understand various languages, but, only respond in their own kind of thing.
Yeah, they say something about, like, the universal consciousness that they want to come through, it will.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I've seen a lot of. I've heard, witnessed, I've witnessed Dom, speak French before and receive English response back.
Yeah.
I've witnessed, speak English and receive French, and from watching GHI and some of the other shows overseas, I've witnessed them speak English and receive response back too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. I kind of remember a TAPS case we had, and it was in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and a part of the mill, There was a garage, and supposedly there's a French guy that died in there. So at the end of the EVP session, one of our guys says, "Merci beaucoup," and then seconds later on the recording you hear the exact same phrase, "Merci beaucoup," but in a heavy French accent.
Wow.
Oh, I love that stuff. Gives me the chills. I love that stuff.
That's excellent, brother. I have a question for you, talking about doing your overseas investigations. What is the nastiest thing you've ever eaten when you were overseas?
All of it. We've had we went to Argentina, and they had a spread for us, and it was like a cold buffet, and it had brains, and it had ears, and it had various other parts of the body, pickled, and there was some eyeballs, and we were like, "Wow, that's pretty nasty."
Oh my God!
Are you sure this wasn't an Indiana Jones film? It sounds
Joe Chin in the Temple of Doom.
So you know, me being squeamish, I'm like, I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that.
What's that one thing they have in the Philippines and I think in Thailand too? The egg with the embryo still inside them.
Oh, no way.
Oh, they call it blue.
Huh?
They call it blue. It's a
yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And you hold it, you hold it by the beak, and you bite this thing, and it's all like cartilage, and it's so nasty.
Yeah. Oh my God! That's the one thing I can't do that.
Oh my God. So,
but back to paranormal.
So Joe Chen, you were on Ghost Hunters. You were on Ghost Hunters International. You've been in some movies.
Mm-hmm.
You're a what?
No, go ahead.
You're a freelance paranormal investigator, because I've seen you on Our Turf a few times, and you definitely do like to investigate with anybody and everybody, which is a very good thing. But you're also now a member of Paranormal After Party, is that correct?
Yes. A couple months ago, we had joined the Generic Black Shirts group, and they filmed a TV show down in Pennsylvania called the Paranormal After Party. And my sister Chris and I are both members of the show, and we're filming some episodes.
Oh, very, very nice. Now, are you currently filming at the moment, or are you? Is this something that you've got all the episodes filmed out, or are you guys looking for locations?
They've got a couple of them lined up for us in the near future, and then we're going down, I think, to St. Albans at some point.
Oh, okay.
Where's he going?
I missed it because I was talking over you, but don't worry. I'm sure. Now, we all know about Dracula's castle and getting bitten, and anybody who's met or listened to Joe talk or been around him, that's something that comes up quite often.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the things I'd rather not talk about tonight. Tonight, I'd rather just kind of chat with you, and I'd like to maybe pop a question on you and see what your thoughts are on this. Do you think that currently the shows that are on TV, I'm not going to name them, but the shows that everybody can figure out and sit down and watch, do you think that the shows that are on TV right now are making it harder for paranormal investigators to be taken seriously and for people to trust what they see and hear after an investigation?
Most definitely. There are shows out there that are, kind of scripted, and it does hurt to feel because they're acting, and they're being told what to say and what they see and hear and whatnot. And it's detrimental to the real serious paranormal investigators like us. We're out there trying to further the field and try to gather as much evidence as we can, but with these people faking everything, people are going to be turned off because they watch these shows and they expect that, every show that they watch, something crazy is going to happen. And that's how paranormal investigation is like. It's far and few in between. Sometimes you get things, and sometimes nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly. When something does happen, it's a bonus, but when it doesn't, you go, okay, let's move on. do we need to go back? Do we need to move on to the next case? Whatever it is.
That's one of the things we've done a couple times where we've personally been able to leave an investigation and look at the person and say, hey, this may not be what you were expecting when we came out here, but I'm going to tell you, I don't believe your house is haunted. I can explain the majority of the activity. Lauren can tell you the majority of the stuff that you're feeling and seeing and experiencing can be explained away by this, this, and this. It may not be what you wanted to hear. It may be what you wanted to hear, but the best part of our job is when we can look at you and say, hey, guess what? Nothing's going on here. You just got some funky wiring, and you should probably stop smoking weed.
And your house is 150 years old.
And doing investigations, we go to these places once sometimes, and I believe that's not enough to determine whether or not a place is haunted. If a place is truly haunted, I believe the team has to go back again and again and again to see what's really out there.
Yes, yeah, and again, this goes back to the whole thing with the TV shows and stuff like that. Is there aren't enough teams that do that. There are too many teams right now that go out to a location and investigate and get in over their heads, or they're like, okay, that was great, and never contact the people again, and then we end up getting phone calls with people saying, hey, these people came out and I don't understand what happened. They never called us back. Can you come and talk to us and maybe give us a different look?
Yeah.
So I agree with you when you said, it most definitely is hurting the field right now because there are just so many young kids, and not even young kids, so many people in general that are like, let's go grab some detectors and the best equipment that we can buy and run out there and yell and scream and make some noise and put the equipment down. And I learned so much from investigating with you, Joe, where I actually, listen to the way you talk and your opening with the spirits and your communication during EVPs, and I try to use some of that myself. It's definitely, you definitely have a sensitive side, but it's a way to keep the line of communication going. You talk a lot to the spirits and ask them very, very direct questions, which, too many teams, and you explain the equipment. Too many teams don't do that.
Yeah. That's, I think, a huge thing is that too many teams don't explain the equipment because, unfortunately, there are members of those teams that don't know what the equipment's for or how to use it effectively.
Yeah.
So that becomes a problem, too, You don't just hold a meter up and go, okay, right?
Yeah, they're like, pull all these bells and whistles, and they're just shouting out questions and random questions and not really trying to shut up enough to listen to see if they are hearing what they hear or feeling what they feel. And there's no one piece of equipment that's, meant to capture a ghost. We use these equipment that people develop to EMF detectors, let's say, detect EMS in the natural field in alarm clocks and things like that. That when people use it, I think they use it incorrectly sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question, and it has slipped my mind, but I did want to ask you real quick. I wanted to find out from you, what is, other than your body, other than maybe your digital recorder, what is your favorite piece of equipment that you would want to use and take on every investigation? And your vest doesn't count, by the way.
Come on. I like just a digital recorder. And sometimes if I have my mini DV, but EVPs are what I get the most of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea why? Is it something that you put out there, before you even arrive at the location? Do you open yourself enough that you find yourself to be engaging, or is it just who you are?
I think it's who I am, partly because of I'm slightly sensitive, that I do pick up certain things from the spirits, and then I in turn try to listen to my body, try to feel out the place, and go to a place where I think that something may occur with the spirit. And for me, it pretty much works.
Good. So, what's coming next? we have GBSG, we have Paranormal After Party, we have what you've done the other day. Looks like you were out with Shabrasi. You guys were shooting a pilot. Is that something you were just there to do, or is that something that if it takes off, you're going to be a part of?
From what I understood, they just wanted to pitch the pilot to a TV network, and they wanted some sort of celebrity. So I guess I was that person to do their first pilot and then pitch it to a network.
Oh, very
Okay. That'd be very cool.
Very cool.
See something
Yeah.
like that.
Is there a cooking show in the future?
No, because I can't cook. Even if I come from a restaurant background, my father told me that I couldn't cook, and I was better talking with people and interacting with the patrons instead of cooking.
Yeah. Well, apparently Chinese people don't know how to make drinks either.
Oh my God, you remember that? We are so sorry for that. That was the worst experience ever.
I'll have to make you a drink. You'll have to get me ingredients. We'll make some zombies and some Long Island iced teas and some Mai Tais, and you tell me what my drinks taste like.
Nice.
Heck yeah, I'm going to hold you up to that now. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Right?
For those of you who don't know, we went out to dinner one night with Joe and Christine to a Chinese restaurant, and our waitress was like so racist.
directly at Jones. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And then she couldn't split the bill.
It was really funny because she comes over to us and she's talking, and then she says, the Chinese. And then I'm looking at him like, hello?
The best part is Joe hands over his credit card. She's like, "Oh, your chin."
Yeah. Really? And nail the coffin.
It was a fun time.
It was fun. It was a great time. I had some laughs.
So, Joe, will you be at the Ocean State Paracon that's coming up?
I am. Yep. I am. That's the group I belong to back home. It's Rise Up, as you know. I'm part of Ken's group, and part of the Tabs, and part of GBSG. So yeah.
Whose booth are you going to sit at?
I have my own table, from what I hear.
So wait a minute. So at your own table, you're going to be selling Joe Chin stuff. You'll probably have some Paranormal After Party bracelets, some condoms, a Rise Up sticker somewhere.
Some tap shirts.
Yeah. I have to change my shirt. So every time, I sit at my table for a few minutes, change, and then sit at the Rise Up table for a few minutes, change, and sit at the tap table for a few minutes.
Just wear them in layers. You like what Chandler did, or was it Joey or Chandler when he wore like all their clothes? Just put on like 5 different T-shirts, and you can take them off as you go.
Oh, yeah, I can see that happening, and then I'll pass out during the heat.
I'm gonna have a Paracon up here in Gloucester. There's gonna be a Joe Chin dunk tank. Oh man! So, is there anything that you want to plug, Joe, here before we have to worry about time? We still have maybe about 7 minutes left. So, for you anyway, then we're gonna be bringing in Mike. You know Mike Buckley. We're gonna be bringing Buckley on. Yeah, he's gonna talk about Unknown Paranormal Society for a little bit.
Cool. For me, the only thing that's coming up is I'm going to be in one of those B-type movies with Mike Spreaker, and I'm kind of excited and very nervous because I'm not an actor, but I kind of want to see how it's gonna turn out.
Excellent. And what movie is that?
I believe they call it I think it's them, the Evil Monsters.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Do we have a release date for that? Is it?
He said we're going to start filming next year.
Oh, okay. All right.
Very nice. I look forward to that. I can't wait to see Joe Chin on the big screen.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so awesome. Your goatee's gonna be like 2 feet tall.
It's a comedy.
It's comedy.
So here's a nice little thought for you, Joe.
Yeah.
What one place that you have not had the privilege to investigate yet that you would like to at some point in time in the near future?
In the U.S.?
Anywhere. It doesn't have to be U.S. It can be anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to visit someplace in China and Japan. We had a chance to go to Egypt, and that got canceled, so I'd like to visit those places.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If you can ever get into Egypt.
I hear they have some pretty cool tourist attractions in those places. I think there's some sand.
Yeah.
I think there's like some kind of like a little wall or something over in China.
Oh, don't even start with what they do in Egypt. They will chase you on the camel to try and get you to take a picture with the camel. They will corner you, and the camel will like spit at you, and you got to give him $5 to get him away. Okay?
Wow.
Say whatever.
So it's like hanging out with Joe.
Right? You might like go get spit on by the camel and have to kill it.
But I agree, because I think if you could ever get into, I mean, I know for some people it might be, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I would love to get into one of the pyramids and investigate, you know? But
yeah.
I feel like...
You know?
You know what, though? I feel like that's one of the places you'd leave with a curse. You wouldn't want to go.
Yeah. That's why I said I can't believe I'm saying it, you know, and this is don't touch archaeological sites and preserve history, wants to go into one of the pyramids and try and communicate with them. Figure out why they were so good at math, because apparently Americans are terrible at it.
Well, that's a double play for me. I want to get that in math.
Can't cook and can't do math. Jeez, Joe, come on.
Right? What the hell happened?
Can't cook and can't do math.
No, two of the things, and it's probably, you know, what Asians are most known for, their math skills and their cooking skills, and I do not have any.
Oh my God!
Oh
well, Joe, tell everybody how they can correspond with you and chat with you and tweet with you and Facebook you and Instagram you and all that good stuff.
Okay, well, they can reach me on Twitter with my Twitter sign at @Joe_GHI. I have my Facebook page, Joe Chin/GHI is my fan page. My regular Facebook page is full, so I can't accept anybody. And of course, you can probably, if you have my cell phone and email address, send me a direct email or call me.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm going to leave you with one last question.
Yes.
If there was one thing about today's paranormal society, or whatever you want to call it, paranormal culture, you could change, what would it be?
Wow, that's a toughie. I guess some kind of universal way of gathering evidence and sharing that evidence with all the paranormal people out there, so that we have this big catalog or bank of EVPs and photos, but it's one place that we all can go to and share it, so that everybody gets a taste of what each group brings to the field.
That is wholeheartedly agreed by us. That's something we've been preaching now for several months here on our little magical mystery tour we've been doing. And I really feel like if we could find a way to take each location, even take it further than what you just said, but have each location, so somebody's going to Dansville Rectory or something, just an example, and you could have every team that's been there have files that they send in of things that they believe, what they captured. Mm-hmm. So people can go and maybe find something like, hey, that sounds like the same voice I heard.
Yeah.
Or that's the same EVP I caught.
Yeah.
Like you just said.
And be reassured that, maybe you're going in the right direction with your research or, what you're trying to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that thought, and maybe we can all get that movement going.
Yeah.
Right? Some kind of universal bank, like you said, where everybody stores their the EVPs, their pictures, their videos, and their personal experiences, and this way, like you said, other groups can say, oh, I've been to that place, let's see what they caught. and we all can
Yeah.
collaborate and cooperate.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we let you go, we want to tell you how much we love you and Christine. She's amazing. I think it's awesome that you guys are together working with GBSG and doing Paranormal After Party. You know, and I know that she's big on not wanting as much drama. There needs to be less drama in the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's something else. There's this everybody infighting, and you know, I really feel like it's getting to that almost a corner is about to be turned, where those teams are going to burn themselves out, and people are just going to stop acknowledging them and stop, you know, feeding into the drama, and it's just going to fade away, and I guess the cream will rise to the top.
It'll be like a paranormal apocalypse. Only the strong survive.
I hope so. And of course, you and Lauren are great. You know, we love you guys. We have so much fun every time we get together, and you know, I feel like we're like family in a way. You know, it's great.
It is.
Really?
We love you guys. Aww.
We love you. All right, I'm going to hang up. We're driving down now.
Right now. Right.
All right, brother. I appreciate you coming on. We love you, and we will talk again soon, okay?
Thank you very much, Joe.
Okay. Take care. Thank you, guys. Love you.
Hi, love you too.
That was Mr. Joe Chin.
See, that worked out nicely. Someone getting cut out.
No, I don't know what the hell happened there.
I told you.
We got booted off the air because of Joe Chin. He must have like the dominant phone. Just slipped us right offline. It was crazy. Hopefully he kept you guys entertained while we were off there. I don't know if you can still hear him or not. Kind of odd. The host get dropped from the show.
Right?
But I thought we were doing a good job with Blog Talk and with GTM Wicked, but I guess not. They must not love us. And now it looks like we have Mr. Mike Buckley calling into us, so we're going to jump right from Joe Chin. We're going to go right into Mike Buckley here in just a second. If you don't know Mike Buckley, please go to all the posts we've been throwing up.
How's everything going on?
Hello, Michael.
Hey, everybody.
How are you?
Thanks for
How are
having
you,
me on.
Mike? Hey, are you
Great.
kidding? We're excited to have you on.
So, Mr. Buckley, tell everybody who you are and who Unknown Paranormal Society is.
Well, my name is Mike Buckley, as you just said. I formed Unknown Paranormal in 2012. Well, I should actually start by saying I've been pretty much studying the paranormal since I was about 10 years old. After I had kind of a Unknown Paranormal, and we're a small nonprofit group out of upstate New York. We're only about eight members right now, current members. Basically, I mean, the reason I formed Unknown is so that people have a place to go for help or consultation of what they're dealing with. I mean, it's not always something that's easily understood. So basically, people can come to us for aid.
Yeah, excellent. So you guys are doing the right thing, and you've done it the right way. That's something that we tell everybody, because I guess, and you can understand this too. Inevitably, people always say, "What's the best advice you could give to someone who's starting out in the paranormal?"
Hands on like parapsychology books, and even demonology books. Get yourself some reading material before you decide that this is what you want to do, because it can get kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes, it can. And then you don't know how to handle it when something bad does happen, and then you're, for lack of a better word, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So
That's something that, I definitely want to research and study more demonology myself. But, when you start reading and researching and forming it takes a toll on the people involved. It takes a toll on everyone. And unfortunately, I don't know if you saw this. I'll ask you, because you might have even shared it. Actually, by the way, before I even go into this, I just want everybody to know who's in the room right now. Mike Buckley is the source of all the most amazingly funny memes you could possibly want on Facebook.
Oh, my God.
If you want to laugh and smile and shake your head and go, "Yep, Buckley," friend this guy and watch the memes he throws up on a daily basis. They're awesome. epic even.
Just make sure you're not easily offended.
I'm only asking, like, where do you find this crap? I love it.
You know what? That stems back to paranormal, too, because all I do while I'm going over audio is I'm on the internet.
And what I was trying to segue into with that whole thing was, I saw something the other day. It was just a story, I think even yesterday on Facebook, about 3 teens in Mexico who were playing with a Ouija board, or as Zach Vegan says, a Ouija board. They said that these 3 teens were playing with a Ouija board.
Idea of a Ouija board, but I am staying away from it. I mean, something just tells me to stay away from boards. I want to play with one so bad, but it's not going to happen. I don't want to get a hold of Zuzu.
No, that would be the one.
No, see, when me and a couple of my girlfriends, when we were young, like 12, played around with a Ouija board, and we actually got something that none of the 3 of us would have even, like spelled out or brought up, because it was something that happened when we were like 8 or 9 years old. It was someone that was murdered, and her name came up, and it wasn't necessarily like she was talking to us, but the name came up, and as it spelled it out, we like threw that thing, put it away, and I never went back to it, because it was just too close for comfort.
Yeah.
So after that, I agree.
Now the thing, I'm going to play devil's advocate, no pun intended with a Ouija board, but devil's advocate here. Aren't we basically doing that anyway, just without a board and the thing, I can't think of what it's called at the moment, but are we doing that anyway with our digital recorders and our spirit boxes and everything else we use?
Well, I think so, but I think also we go... What?
You go, Mike.
In a sense, we are, but I mean, Ouija boards are kind of the darker. I mean, one of the things that I like to tell people is if you want to do an investigation, don't do it in your house. Because if you start talking to something on the recorder, it opens up a door. It basically opens up a door for anything else to come in if it wants to. But a Ouija board is like 10 times that.
Yeah. I can understand. I mean, Lauren, you're about to say also.
No, I think that now we go into it. Not that I would use one, but even if I had never had that experience, I would still think to myself, "Am I really prepared for that?" Because I go in and knowing what I might get on a recorder. Knowing that if I hear a nasty voice, I can say, "Okay, leave me alone." I feel like something else comes through a Ouija board. I feel like things that we still don't. That we can't comprehend still come through there. And I don't mean just like spirits and voices and things and like that phenomena. Because, I mean, that thing, with the name that came through was creepy.
Yeah.
And that was just something that none of us were even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, what?
Yeah. And that's the thing with a Ouija board. Your guard is down while you're using a Ouija board. Like, if you know nothing about the paranormal and nothing about what the Ouija board really is, it's just a fun game for you. So your guard is down.
Right, and so it's almost like watching a cheesy horror movie. You're asking questions because you're trying to get a rise out of it, and then, oh, look what you did.
Yeah.
Look who you invited into the room.
At least if you're investigating with a recorder, you're kind of expecting or kind of, as ready as you can be for something to speak to you. So you're kind of,
and I guess
your dukes are up then.
Right. The one thing a lot of people don't also take into consideration, like I said, I was playing devil's advocate a little bit there, but one of the things a lot of people don't take into consideration is the fact that when you're using a Ouija board, you're trying to communicate with spirits by inviting them to use you to manipulate the board.
Right.
Whereas with the devices we use, we're telling them to use the device to communicate with us, not our hands to move stuff around and into our bodies and invite them in that way. So
I like that.
That's one big thing that a lot of people just don't bring that up when they say it. They're like, "Well, it's really not.
It's really not, yeah.
You know, and it could it happen with a piece of paper and a pen? Use my hand? Sure. Same thing, you know, but it just happens that it's a game that people play, and that's what ends up happening. You get all that human energy going, and, you know, crazy stuff's going to occur.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend all my time, though, talking about Ouija boards.
Let's talk. I want to know about Mike's experience that kind of got him started into researching the paranormal.
Yeah, what was that profound experience that you had?
Oh, well, I've actually kept that secret my whole life. I've just been, like, releasing that information the last couple of years. You know those fun things when you're laying in bed and you got pressure on you and you can't talk or move? Well, that happened to me for about 9.5 hours when I was about 10 years old. Yep.
Jesus.
I remember the exact times that it started and ended.
Wow.
So, and it was the only time I was actually freaked out by something paranormal, and it actually got me into doing this, more.
Did I'm sure you don't want to delve into it too much, but when this was happening, was anything else happening to you? Were there physical marks left on you, or was it just something restraining you? Could you talk? Could you not speak?
Nope. It actually felt like a person was sitting on the back of my neck. I could not. Nothing was covering my mouth, but I could not speak.
Wow.
It's scary enough to have an experience like that for 10 seconds, let alone 9.5 hours.
Yep.
And at such a young age.
Yeah.
I can't.
But I could just imagine. I had nobody to really. I didn't really know how to talk about it with anybody. I didn't know who to talk to or if it was okay to talk about it. Back in the 90s, paranormal wasn't. It was still kind of. We were still crazy people back then. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of why
I just don't know if you can see the chat room at the moment if you're looking at it or not, but there are people saying, hey, been there, been through it myself, stuff like that. So just to know that you obviously know you're not alone, but just to know that you're striking a chord with a lot of people too. But coming out and telling that story, I know it's probably difficult for you, but you have a lot of people who are sharing the same sentiment. So I know
it's actually the reason I formed the group, because it's good for people to have a place to come and talk to. I didn't have anybody to talk to about it back then, so it's good to have a group like this or type of case. I mean, anything that people are having a problem understanding, I'd be more than happy to talk to them.
Good.
Wow. What's happening? So, tell us here for the last couple minutes we've got. Tell us how people can reach you, where they can find Unknown Paranormal Society, and plug your website, plug your Facebook, plug Twitter, plug a hole in the canoe, whatever you want to do right now.
Right now, the best place to find us is on our Facebook page, or you can friend me, or you can email at us at unknownparanormalsociety@gmail.com, and somebody will get to you right away.
Awesome. And what's your Unknown Paranormal Society on Facebook?
Yes. And there's a website on the way if I ever get my stuff together and put it together.
I'm sure it'll be an awesome website, too, when you do get it together. I've watched your videos at Parahistorycon 1 and 2, and I was really impressed by some of the stuff you've captured. So listen to some of those EVPs, too. I appreciate it, and when everybody has a chance, please check Buckley's page out. Hit him up with an email if you have any questions, and network with this guy. He's a real, real good guy, and I know he's doing good things out there. And he loves the Shanley Hotel, right?
Oh, boy. I'll be going there for the 10th time on 4th of July weekend. I can't get enough of the place.
Nice. It's so awesome. I'm so jealous.
All right, Mike. It was awesome having you on. Thank you so much for coming on here with us. And
thanks for having me on.
When you get a chance, no worries, brother. When you get a chance, hit us up on Facebook.
Thank you, Mike.
Definitely will. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that was Mike Buckley, and as we said, he's with Unknown Paranormal Society, a very, very good friend of ours. I met Mike, I can't say we, I don't think Lauren did also. We met Mike last year at ParaHistoryCon. So by meeting Mike, he and I sort of bonded a little bit because last year at ParaHistoryCon, I didn't know anyone, and I just met John Tobin for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So hanging out, like a stick in the mud, not knowing anyone, I met Jason Kirkman there as well, Jason from Kips. So Mike, Jason and I were hanging out talking, and we started friending each other on Facebook, and next thing you know, here we are, reunion a year later, we get to hang out with each other again.
Yep.
It was a real, real good time.
Mike's a great DJ, by the way, too.
So,
I forgot about that, too.
I'm seeing lots of hey, good show, Mark, good job. Lauren's here too, guys. Don't forget Lauren's in the room. She can see the chat room also. But in any event, I did want to just one thing real quick before we have to wrap the show up. Don't forget Lizzie Borden event. Still have 2 tickets. They made another ticket available. We have 2 tickets available. GHH is going to be in Penhurst this weekend for their final event. And other than that, just look for stuff coming out from us. We have our Facebook page up and running, Paranormal Hangover. Mm-hmm. I started a Twitter handle the other day, at Parahangover, That will be the Twitter handle. So, talking to us, guys, like I said, send us information, send us guests, send us everything.
Send us everything. On your question.
All right, guys, take care.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Wicked Edge. I am your host, your favorite Wicked Wild Child, Tiffany Beth. It is an awesomely wet night